Warning, we are about to spoil the movie Cabaret. If you haven't seen the movie and plan on watching it, leave now and come back later. But if you have seen the film, or you just don't care, then please stick around. You know what, Cameron? Since this is a musical, I'll let you sing this one time.
Life. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette. Today, we are getting to the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. This is the fourth movie, the fourth movie on the wheel. We have 3 left now after this, but we're almost there. This is the first week of December, so welcome to the last month of the year, everybody.
Yeah, we know that's what December is.
Well, it's the last month for us until we take that little break at the beginning of the year as well. So
yeah, we take a break in January.
Yeah.
It just happens. Deal with it.
It's just how it is, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so today is a movie which is part of the director's favorite category, and this is this is one that Justin had seen and I had not. This is the 1972 musical Cabaret.
It isn't that long a stay. Life is a cabaret, old chum. It's only a cabaret, old chum. And I love a cabaret.
Yes, Cabaret, everybody. This one was a very interesting movie because it's one that kind of caught me off guard because of its subject matter. So
Yeah, Cameron knew nothing going in other than it's called Cabaret, it's a musical, and there's a scene where the main chick kind of cries.
yeah, someone showed a brief clip in like a video essay or something like that, and that was all I saw. I think it was the scene when she was on the bed talking to him, crying. So I think that was all I'd seen and all I knew about the movie. So yeah.
First, before we get into it is a director's favorite. You get one guess on who it is.
Yeah, it's funny. I said I was going to think about who it was, and I never really did that. So it's time for me to ruminate about it. And Justin gave me a couple hints. It is a director that we both know and have seen movies from, and he or she is still alive. So,
yes.
Okay. So Cabaret. I'm trying to think here, like the time period. Because I was thinking in my head, like, is it a new wave director? But I'm like, that would have been in the 70s when that was happening. So I'm not sure if that was then or if it was a later influencer or.
Hey, you could be inspired by a movie made the same year you're making movies.
Absolutely. Hello, Premiere.
Hi, Promare.
Oh, just...
I just realized I did sort of a SpongeBob. Hi, Kevin.
Yeah. Hi, Justin. Let's see. Who could it be? You might have to cut this out. Let's take a break here while I think, and then we can cut back when I actually guess.
I was going to do that either way.
Okay.
But I do what I can, inch by inch, step by step, mile by mile.
Okay. Don't know why I'm getting a feeling here. I think it's wrong, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I'm just going to run with it. I'm going to go with it, okay?
Okay.
Is it David Fincher?
Can I ask why?
Because... Why? It just... looking at the movie and looking at... I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling.
Because you're correct. It is David Fincher.
Hey!
Which also makes this a nice connection because if this is the first week of December, I think Mank is out now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because that's coming out December 4th onto Netflix.
Okay.
So, hey, algorithm boost.
There we go, baby. Hey.
Well, yes, this was one of David Fincher's favorites, at least from the list I found online. It may not be a reliable source. Who fucking cares? We got to watch Cabaret.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So I will let you take it away with the synopsis before we give our thoughts on the movie.
Okay, this is a new wave film, so it's kind of easy to summarize, but there is more going on than what I'm about to say.
All right.
It's also a musical. In 1930s Berlin, a British man named Brian comes on down to teach Germans how to speak English. He moves into an apartment building, and in the room across from him is a woman named Sally, who is a dancer at a cabaret, which is kind of like a variety show mixed with a strip club.
Classy.
Classy. That may not be 100% true, but it's kind of what it is in the movie. Sally tries to hit it off with Brian, but he's not super into it. They keep hanging out. Brian starts teaching someone named one of Sally's friends named Fritz. He's rather poor, kind of a scammer. He also teaches someone named Hitalia. She is part of a very rich family, and they kind of just live in 1930s Germany. There's Nazis around, but who cares?
They're just kind of there.
They're there. It's happening. Sally has problems with her dad. This is only brought up once, but during this scene, Brian admits that he likes her, and they start dating and fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, really, dating or fucking? I don't fucking know.
Fucking.
They're never really officially boyfriend, girlfriend. They're just kind of what I do with some people. So, just casual sex.
Also, Sally wants to be a famous actress.
Mm-hmm.
And will do anything, and even mentions that a director named Maximilian may someday just walk into her life and she'll be able to be in his movies and be the next... I forget the actress's name they use. And what do you know, she's out doing her laundry and runs into Maximilian. Starts hanging with him. She is kind of pampered by him. Brian gets a bit jealous, but also gets a bit pampered.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, both were cheaters because Brian is bisexual. After this, they were going to move to Africa with Max, but Max kind of just runs off and leaves them.
Was it moving to Africa or just taking a vacation or trip to Africa?
It was one of the two. I forget. I think it was just a vacation.
Yeah, I thought it was more like we're taking a trip to Africa for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Max runs off and leaves them 300 francs, if I remember correctly.
Or no, yeah, no,
I know it's
literally
300 something.
Because it's like they got like 100 some each or something like that. She did the math.
150.
Yeah.
That's how you split 300, Cameron.
Well, no, I know, but it was francs, and I don't know if she said francs or dollars. She like did some math. I don't know if that was equivalent to dollars or what currency you were using. Is what I was saying.
Also, at this point in the movie, Nazis are taking over a lot more in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
We find out Italia is worried because she is Jewish, and Fritz is actually falling in love with her, and and the kind of funny part with him is he says he's Christian, but he's actually a Jew as well, and was lying just so he'd be more accepted in Germany at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But he does admit to Hitalia that, hey, he literally goes to her door and goes, I'm a Jew. And then we cut to their wedding.
He's not paraphrasing. That's literally what happens. He walks up, knocks on the door, she opens it, and he just goes, I'm a Jew. Cut to wedding. He's not paraphrasing. That's literally what happens.
Also, more fun in Brian and Sally's relationship. Sally gets pregnant.
Yeah.
But we don't know who the kid is. And they think they're going to stay together for the kid. But something gets to Sally about the idea of them staying together for a kid and how they may start to hate each other, so she gets an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has fun themes. It's a fun musical. After this, Brian goes back to England. I think one of the I forget if he says this in the movie or it's just kind of implied, but since the Nazis are becoming more and more present and he's a gay man, he goes back to the UK.
I think that's what we're supposed to infer from that. Yeah.
And Sally continued. Oh, she also worked at the Cabaret, in case I didn't say that. She goes back to the Cabaret, sings one final song about life being a cabaret, and then we pan to, well, the main host of the Cabaret kind of talks to the audience for a bit, gives a bow, and then we pan over to a mirror as we see more Nazis filling the Cabaret, and then it ends.
Yep. So that was Cabaret, and
That's a quick summary of Cabaret. There's a lot more that happens.
There is, yeah. What an interesting fucking movie, because it gets kind of new wavy at times. It's interesting. It's like a musical mixed with a French new wave film, and
well, it is a 70s film.
Yeah. But because there was the American New Wave and then there was also the French New Wave, but it takes a lot of influence from that, I could tell. But at its core, it was the story between, Sally and Brian. And what they went through. And it was a very, it was just, I guess not personal, but like smaller story, which was a common trait of, French New Wave films. It wasn't this big grand adventure or anything. It was just, here's two people's lives. There we are. Nice and simple. But this one's...
Well, wouldn't that be more Italian? Because Italian neo-realism?
That happened as well. Because Italian neorealism, I think that, you're right, that definitely did it more, but French New Wave always had elements of that in there. Like, it depended on the director and on the film entirely. So, because there were, films like Alphaville, which was like a sci-fi type thing, and like mixed with a noir. But yeah, then there was also, what am I trying to think of? It was Persona. I think it was by, that wasn't good. Oh, what the fuck was that? That's going to drive me nuts.
That's a video game, not a movie, silly.
It was... Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. But that was like a story just between two women, but it was shot very artsy and stuff like that. But it stands apart to me because it wasn't just about these two. They threw in musical numbers, and the musical numbers happened to fit with the themes of the movie, and they fit with from scene to scene what was going on. They kind of added to it mixed.
Were you trying to think of the director?
What?
Of Persona.
Yeah, who is that director?
Ingmar Bergman?
Ingmar Bergman. That's it. Yep. Okay.
There you are. Okay.
And that was Swedish, so I was entirely wrong on that. Good job, me. But you get the gist of it. You get my point, even if I used the completely wrong film and director.
You tried.
I did. I tried. I put in a solid effort, but at the end, I really liked how the musical numbers like related to what was going on and kind of emphasized that and put it into song. So,
actually, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Is the Cabaret always real?
I could see how it could be inferred to not be, because the way it's shot, there's some really weird things happen at time. I noticed in the very first song number, when, he looks in the mirror and turns around and does his first little ditty, out in the crowd, everyone is just standing completely still. There's no movement or anything. Like, it's almost like they're mannequins. Like, I thought, that one lady holding the cigarette, she was just still doing nothing, not blinking. I was like, is that a fucking mannequin? Like, what the fuck's going on here? So that could be inferred that part is not real.
Yeah, or even Sally, when she sings about it being her and Brian getting together, how it could work this time.
Yeah.
The entire crowd is just asleep or not giving a shit that she's singing.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. Yeah, like I said, how it kind of relates to the themes of the story and stuff like that. But yeah, I could totally see like how at times, it's not real. It's just like, something that's happening in her head or like some spiritual thing. I don't know.
Or, it's musical logic and it's just a song number no one's going to address.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, it's a fucking musical. But Yeah, so that was good. I loved all the musical numbers. Those were really well done. The actress.
Oh, yeah, the mix of instruments for the musical numbers is so good.
Yeah, they do a really good job of varying it up. It's not like, the samey, because it's of course like basically a jazz / a variety show music, but it is. He's right. It's a good mix of like very different instruments and styles and stuff like that.
And catchy as fuck.
Oh yeah, that money song was fucking great. I loved that one. That was so silly and so funny, and just there's a lot of really good.
Real Big Fish's sellout isn't classy enough for you.
Yeah, there's just a really really good mix of like fun musical numbers. Like this film, while it does deal with the heavier subject matter that we'll get to, it does have a lot of. It injects a lot of humor into it. So there's a lot of really funny scenes in this movie.
Which could even be more the point, but we'll get to that a bit later.
Lisa Minnelli as Sally Bowles is just fucking fantastic. I loved her, the energy and everything she brought. She apparently won an Academy Award for it, so
she fucking deserves it.
Hell yeah, she did fucking fantastic. I loved her, and the way they did the makeup around her eyes and like just in general her hairstyle and everything was just so cool. The costume designer deserves major kudos for everybody.
Yeah. Honestly, I know I said this while we were watching, but she's basically every hyper anime girl character just brought to life.
Yeah, just rolled into one. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, and I loved the characters in this movie, like the way they interact with each other and like the way they all meet and come together and what happens in the world and how they kind of rely on each other and talk to each other. It just felt very natural, everyone's friendships and their acquaintances and stuff like that. I really liked that about the movie.
I mean, Brian's great because he tried to punch a Nazi, which is worth it.
Yeah, exactly. He tried to punch a Nazi. He got the shit kicked out of him, and I was like, "Wow, you must have fought the whole entire Nazi party." He's like, just puts up the number 2. Is like, "Oh, there was only 2 of them."
I do love that when he starts the fight. It just hard cuts to him in bed with a black eye and broken arm.
It's like he goes up, like pulls the flyers out of his hand, tears them, throws them on the ground, start laughing. But then he like kicks over the Nazi flag and just hard cut to him in bed with a huge black eye and a broken wrist. Yeah, I do like his attitude towards the end of just fuck Nazi. No, fuck you.
The only correct attitude to have towards Nazis.
Yeah, actually. So, but yeah. So, what aspect should we talk about? Because we discussed the musical numbers and all that. What else? Where should we go from here?
I do love the new wavy feel of the movie.
I do
just
too.
the editing and the avant-garde weirdness of it.
Yeah, because even like obviously the musical numbers are strange and out there, and it's like very variety show, but it's like really trippy and shit. But even the
just like the opening scene is so oddly unnerving.
It is just the way the quote unquote master of ceremonies, like he has this like white. He's painted like a white face or something. Like he's very like pale makeup on, and then has his red lips. He just does a really good job of being a little unnerving. There's a random ass jump scare where he just comes in and says money.
Yeah, that scene just comes out of nowhere. It's like, don't do that again.
Just comes right the fuck out of nowhere. I'm just like, can we not, buddy?
It's like the bird in Citizen Kane. I didn't need that.
No.
See, Citizen Kane, David Fincher, Mank. Go watch Mank on Netflix. We're not sponsored.
Yeah, we're not sponsored. We're just promoting David Fincher because he's awesome and he's not in a good spot right now, so we want to support the man.
I don't know. He's in a fine spot. He has like a 4-year deal with Netflix.
Good for him. Good for him. But yeah, fucking. You're saying about the opening scene? Sorry, was that all you were saying? Just it's unnerving.
Yeah, it was so. I forgot how weird it is and how like I do really wish we could have been together to watch this because seeing your reaction to it, not knowing what's going on, would have been kind of great.
Like the scene where they go under the train and just start, like Sally just says, "Oh, here it comes," and she just starts screaming at the top of her lungs as the train goes by. Like I think like my eyebrows raised up and my jaw kind of dropped. I was like,
normal human things.
Yeah, woo So it's like, the fuck? What is she on, and where can I get some?
Or the weird scene where she's thinking about whose baby it might be.
Oh yeah, it's just this weird, like, full-on new wave montage. It was really strange.
Where it's implied that excuse me, she may have fucked the what'd you call him?
The Master of Ceremonies?
Yeah, she may have had sex with the Master of Ceremonies.
That would be a really weird baby, man. That'd be some fucking David Lynch bullshit.
Probably pop out with a top hat and a cane. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. And then he gives the white face, just like beep beep beep. But yeah, fucking just it's. Sorry, go on.
No, I'll let you go.
No, I had nothing to say. I was just kind of going. Go on.
I was gonna bounce back a bit to the music numbers because the dancing was also super impressive.
Oh yeah, like the way they choreographed it and the energy that the dancers and everyone put into it, like yeah. So and again, actress who played Sally, just fantastic. Like some of the athleticism it takes to do some of that is insane.
Yeah, also Sally's voice is great, but like her first number with the group of all the women on the chairs.
Yeah, she had to like balance on the chair and stand up on it and shit. So impressive.
Well, they were all doing it too, and they were in sync with each other, which just made me think like, if there was more than one take, this was hell.
Oh yeah, just the abuse that their bodies probably took after that.
Oh my god, a wooden chair is already uncomfortable to sit in. Now try fucking balancing your back on it type deal.
And the lighting in the cabaret too is just gorgeous at times. I loved whenever they had the bright blue backlight and the characters started out like getting silhouetted. That was just cool as fuck.
Oh yeah. Or in the final song of Life Being a Cabaret, the actual strobe light that they had.
It cuts to the guy doing it. He's literally just like on, off, like manually doing it.
Well, no, he was cranking a thing that spun so it would like block the light for half a second and then show it.
Yeah, it's cool. Like they did cut to a couple. Sorry, they did cut to a couple behind the scenes things. Like a cut to him doing that, and then like when the woo sound, it was just the guy with the saw doing that too. So.
Yeah, I like showing how realistically it would have been done at the time.
Yes, it's really clever and creative what they did to achieve that effect in the 30s. So, because I was trying to think of the electronic instrument that did it with that they did with the saw, and I remembered it just now. It's called a theremin.
A pheromone?
Theremin.
Theremin.
Yeah, and you hear that in like every cheesy horror B movie that.
Yeah.
that's what that
goes.
Yeah, it's always a theremin. That's what they use. But I guess in the 30s they literally used that one like wobbly saw that did that. So that's cool.
I'm trying to think of the other things to talk about before getting to the other part of the movie.
Because and again, the cinematography was really well done. Just again, it was shot very new wavy, but just really gorgeous in general. And we noticed that there was a very heavy layer of grain on it, and even though this was the Blu-ray rep, so it makes me wonder if it was shot in 16 millimeter, because 16 millimeter kind of has that look to it. Like it like it's not as big as 35 millimeter, so when you project it, there's obviously more grain in it. So.
Cabaret is PG, by the way.
I'm sorry, what?
Cabaret is PG.
That's insane. So this is
it was shot in 35 millimeter.
Was it really? That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They must have just
Eastman 100T 5254.
Okay, so they must have just shot it at like either a really low exposure or something like that, or it must have just been in really dark lighting a lot, because dark lighting will add heavy film grain. Because I've done that before, where if it's like a really dark room, you open the iris way heavy early. Like I usually change the ISO and then open the iris, and you'll get a heavier lane. Like you will be able to see the image, but at the cost of adding grain, which is fine. Film grain is natural.
Yeah.
So.
Well. They probably shot the scenes in the cabaret first.
Yes.
realized how much grain there was and then tried to keep that throughout the film just so it wasn't super jarring.
Yeah, I'm sure, because they, in the Cabaret, it was probably really dark at the time. Like, that could have been entirely what happened. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
But yeah, so that was just, I just love the style and the technical aspects. And again, the actors all do a great job. Brian is great. Sally is great. What was the guy's name? Max? The rich
Max,
guy?
yep.
Yeah, he's good too. So, and just in general, just so well done. Because again, and the cool thing about this is kind of like Promare, where we have a bi character, but it's just, okay, they're bi. Great. It's not harped upon.
And that's for the 70s.
Yeah, and this was made in the early 70s. This was made in 1972. So for the time period, that was very progressive. And I bring up Premiere, it's just because, the sad thing is we still have that problem nowadays with bisexual or gay characters where they try to go in the stereotypes, but it's like, no, it's like this character is bi, he acts normal, and that's it. That's how it is.
Fuck, even if you have a character who's lightly bi, there's fucking assholes on the internet who need to complain and think the SJWs are taking over.
Hi, toxic masculinity types. How are you?
I'm going to play a quick Vine because I love it so much.
Okay.
I mean, 4 female Ghostbusters? The feminists are taking over. I'm an adult virgin.
Like, even the new Call of Duty had this problem where you were able to create a character and be non-binary, and the fucking 12-year-olds who play that game had to get pissy about it. It's like, oh, you don't want to play as a non-binary character? Here's an idea. Don't click that option.
Yeah, actually, God forbid that we try to actually be progressive in that aspect. Like,
I wouldn't even call it progressive. Like, it's just, fucking Activision threw in its 3 cents.
Yeah.
Here you go. Now they say they, them. You can feel more. Certain people can feel more included in the game. Great. Fine. Whatever.
That's great. I love that. So, but yeah, you'll always have that crowd, and I hope that dies off soon because that really irks me. So, but yeah, no, again, I was just surprised by that really positive portrayal of a bisexual character. It's there, it's glanced over, great, as it should be. So
that actually caught me off guard the first time I watched it because I saw it for a film class, and everyone was sitting down, and my teacher did say that it does portray a gay character, and this may just be because it's the way American films and storytelling has gone, where women being gay is more acceptable than men, oddly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying men should be accepted more than women. I'm saying they should be equal.
Yes,
but I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
But my brain instantly went, oh, okay, so Sally's gonna be the gay one. Cool, whatever. And then when Brian turned out to be gay, I was like, oh, well, that's cool.
You just dropped that fucking bombshell line. She was like, because I slept with him. And Brian was just like, so did I.
So did I.
And the only thing is, I fucking called that.
You called it super early on, but you were more joking.
Yeah, I was. I was like more joking, like 75% joking. But I wouldn't have been surprised if it turned out they were fucking each other. So, but yeah, fucking, I called it, and I was just like, I sensed something between them. I was like, something was going on, because I think it was the scene where they were all shit-faced, and they kind of just all got really close together and looked at each other and looked back and forth and like,
well, also the song beforehand was about having a threesome.
Yeah, exactly, and that was what I kind of loved about it. It was like 2 for me or something like that. I don't know. It was fun. It was a fun number, but
well, the reason you could also take the threesome song the other way is Sally being in the middle.
Yes, exactly.
It turns out it was Bryant. Well, I guess Sally is also in the middle. It's more of a triangle.
Yeah. But yeah, fucking, it was just so interesting to have that theme just kind of there. So
just kind of happens.
Yeah. And it's neat. So yeah, I think that's about...
You know what else kind of happens?
The Nazis.
Nazis.
Yeah. So this film deals with a couple of heavy subjects, and we'll get the Nazis out of the way first.
I actually, the Nazi part is the most David Fincher part of the movie. And I have an explanation for this.
No, because you said, I was going to ask you, I was like, because you said, oh, I could kind of see that there. So I was wondering where you could see that. So go on.
It was the Nazis because the twist is the Nazis taking over. Even though, that's how history went. And the movie doesn't even try to hide that, oh, Nazis are taking over. You see them beat up and kill a guy in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh, yeah, and it's juxtaposed with this really happy song, so it's pretty unnerving.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked. But they keep fading into the background, and then they come back. And you keep forgetting about them because you're focused more on the love story and what's going on with Sally and Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that's very David Fincher. There's one of the main examples, without giving too much away, would be Fight Club, where they dance the twist around the twist of the movie in front of you the entire time. And then it happens and it still surprises you.
Yeah, because you're right. They're just kind of there in the background, but they're not really the focus of the movie. The focus is more Sally and Brian, but it intersplices them just kind of throughout the film to remind you that, yeah, they're there and they're still a thing. And then by the end of the problem, they're an active threat to society. And, you see, because they're in Berlin, and you see, like, the different ways that people react. Like, some people hate them, some people are on board with them, some people, like, change their views because of the propaganda and stuff like that. And it's interesting to see how society kind of breaks down a little bit there. So
yeah, especially in probably the most unnerving scene of the movie is Tomorrow Belongs to Me, where Brian and Max are just out getting lunch or something, and then a person starts singing a song where they say "Tomorrow belongs to me," and then you realize they're a Nazi. And throughout the movie, you've been seeing people kind of saying, "No, fuck the Nazis. Who the hell cares? Fuck them. They're gonna go away eventually." But then everyone else starts singing, and the kids start singing, and the only people who aren't singing are Brian and Max.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of chilling. Because again, at this point, the Nazis completely fade into the background at this point because we were focusing on Max and Sally, probably, most likely doing it as Brian got pretty jealous.
Yep.
And then just that comes back up to remind you, yeah, they've grown in power since you last saw them.
Yeah.
They're still here.
And so, yeah, it deals with the whole, it deals with Nazis because that was what happened at the time. And you, just in relation to that, you had a very interesting theory about the final shot.
Yes, because the movie opens with, what do you keep calling him? I always forget.
Because in the credits online, he's listed as the Master of Ceremonies. So you can just call him the MC if you want. That's what MC stands for.
The original MC.
Yeah, that's literally what MC stands for, is the Master of Ceremonies.
Oh. The Master of Ceremony opens talking to the audience, saying, forget about your troubles, forget about outside the world, just enjoy being here.
Yeah. And
the film is kind of about that's what the film is. You keep forgetting about the problem. The Nazis are there. They're, and hell, that even the first scene, the dude who gets beat up by Nazis, the reason he's beat up is because he kicked one out of the cabaret.
Yep, that's the whole reason. And they thought he was, be like, oh, you're like persecuting us or whatever the fuck was the term for that.
For Nazis, it's treated as they fucking should.
Yeah, exactly. But basically for that, I was trying to remember the actual word. Discriminated, like in their stupid evil minds, they thought they were being discriminated against. So they're like, oh, the guy who kicked the one Nazi out, let's beat him up and kill him.
Let's beat him to death because that's fair.
Yeah.
But the Nazis are a problem, and you do try to forget. You forget with the silly songs and the entertainment. But then there's a hard tonal shift with the music of you get a song where the MC is dancing around with someone dressed as a monkey. It's kind of silly. He's talking about how he loves her, and if only the world saw through his eyes, he they'd love her too. And the song ends with the line, "Through my eyes, you wouldn't even see she's a Jew." You even though you're supposed to be forgetting about this thing, it's crept in.
Yep.
It's now even in the entertainment part. And by the end of the movie, when you finally try to deal with the problem, it's too late.
Yep.
They're here. They have filled up the back seats, and this is just where you are at this point.
Yeah, it's one of those things which kind of, you said, like, it could be like a cautionary tale against, don't ignore your problems, basically, or the what happens when you just ignore a problem. It gets worse.
Yeah, you can't just forget about what else is going on.
Exactly. So that was just a really
fucking so chilling at the end.
It really is. It's so interesting, like how the movie takes such a left turn tone wise. It's so fascinating to me. And the other really, really heavy issue that it deals with is the issue of abortion and how that affects a relationship, because she gets pregnant. Again, we have no idea who the baby is, and she kind of acts like she wants the baby, but when they're out like in the woods and everything, Brian's kind of acting a little distant. Like, she's like, "Oh, about the baby." He's just kind of, they're lying there like, "Would you still love me if I was, big and swollen and pregnant?" She's like, "Of course." And he just kind of zones out. So they both kind of agree that they want the child, but she ends up getting the abortion anyway, and he is really pissed off that this happened, and he was wondering, like, why did you do this? I thought you wanted the baby too. And it turns out that the whole reason that she got the abortion is because she would be afraid that having a baby would end up ruining their relationship, because she was thinking of all the good times they're having and all that stuff. And she was like, a cottage in the middle of the woods, just diapers everywhere, just living together. It's like, how long before we start hating each other?
Yeah, it's just a really heavy moment.
It is, and it deals with the issue of, abortion and what that entails. So, and the emotional stress that both people go through. It's just a really fucking heavy topic. And you had this on top of the Nazis, and I think towards the end of the movie, we were both kind of going more silent, just...
Yeah, this is a hard movie to talk during.
It is, yeah. And I didn't talk during the beginning more because I was, like, enthralled by the musical numbers. I'm like, all right, this is fun. Like, we have some disturbing things in subject matter, but then it just gets really fucking heavy, and you're just kind of like, oh... Because there's some really tender...
I realize most of my favorite musicals are really fucked up. It's like Little Shop of Horrors, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and this.
Well, I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show and Little Shop of Horrors, yeah, they do have some terrible things in it, but those are more fun. Like, this gets way more real than those.
Yeah.
Like, they deal with, Little Shop of Horrors, like it originally ended with...
Hey, no spoilers.
Oh, sorry. But it was still done in this, like, you can bleep it out if you want, but it was still done in this, like, over-the-top, like, silly sci-fi type deal. Like, it was never super heavy. Like, it was never, like, an action. But this gets real, to say the least. That's what happens. This movie gets real, so... And
Did you expect it to get this real? Like, because you went in completely blind.
I did not, actually. That was a genuine curveball thrown my way. I did not expect it to get to that real. Like, they introduced the Nazis, and I knew it was there, and I think I kind of fell for the thing that everyone fell for when they did this. Like, oh yeah, Nazis are there, so it's probably going to have like a scene or two of dealing with that, but it's going to be this fun time, and then, yeah, it just kind of gets... worse as the film goes on, which could have been the entire point of the movie. Because I know, like, during a lot of hard times, because, during the Great Depression and all that, movies really, really took off because that was a means of certain people to escape the harsh reality of what was going on. You know, stock market crashed and we're all losing all of our money and we're all broke and poor and the economy's going to shit. But we have these movies that we can use to take our minds off of it. But you're never going to forget what really happened. Like it'll always be there kind of in the back of your mind. Like shit's still going on. And if it gets too bad, you know, I think media has a tendency to start to talk about it. So
Yeah, it starts to infect your media and it's going to talk about it either one way
Yep.
or the other.
if it goes on too long and it becomes a big enough problem, it's going to seep into your entertainment. So
Well, it starts becoming more of a problem when the media decides to
Yeah.
agree with the
Mhm.
hatefulness and
Yeah.
it's,
Exactly. That's how you get propaganda. But yeah, so this tackles that subject matter really well, and it's easy to look at this movie and look at it, you know, as a musical that has some heavy and real themes in it. Like it's a French New Wave film, or just New Wave in general, I guess, mixed with a musical. But it does still have those deeper themes, and what they do with them is really profound when you really think about it.
and there are probably other ways to take the ending. That was just more of my
Yeah.
interpretation of.
And that's again just the wonderful thing about art is you can take it either way, and it's, you know, very open ended about like what it actually means. Like I looked at that final shot and I was just very confused. I was like, that's it, okay. But you had that interesting theory, and I was like, oh, okay. You can definitely, I could see that from that, absolutely. So
I know my teacher also went with the idea that the audience was supposed to be a literal interpretation of you as the audience.
mm-hmm.
I forget how he explained the final shot.
Hmm.
But the way he holds that theory more is with the song we mentioned earlier, where Sally's singing about how things could be great this time and the audience is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's making fun of the fact that, oh, the audience doesn't fucking care if, you know, the character's gonna be happy. It's not even the midway point of the movie. That's not what we're here for. We're here for, you know, the sexy dancers or the drama that's going to ensue. We don't want things to turn out okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very,
just another way to take it.
it is, yeah. It's a very ambiguous ending that could be taken either way. And again, I just love that about movies and art is you can do that. And people, when you make a movie, like I've had this too. Like I've made short films and people have inferred things from it that I didn't even intend to infer. Like people can
Death of the author.
death of the author and all that. I always found that really cool. Well, yeah, it can fall into death of the author and all that, but it's literally like people can look at something a certain way and draw a whole new meaning from this type of thing. And I love that about art and movies in general. Different people can see different things about it, and that's what's really cool. So especially about movies that have themes like this and just has that ambiguous final shot, it's like people could think completely different things about that, and I love that.
Or they'll just bitch that had an ambiguous ending because
yeah.
thinking is hard.
Because, you know, they're doing that whole thinking thing that people don't like to do nowadays, but
Yo, I think it's weird how something like Cabaret, where the ending is pretty open on how you can interpret it,
mm-hmm.
gets less of a complaint than something like Inception, which has an ambiguous, which without giving too much away, has an ambiguous ending, but there's only like 2 answers to it.
Yeah, the way they brought it up and the way they explained that throughout the film, there's only 2 possible endings. Either this happens or
people
this
get
happens.
super pissy over it for some reason.
I know. It's like it's not that hard. Either this happened or it didn't happen. It's that simple.
Just tell me what happened. You can think for yourself,
Yeah.
buddy.
That's why it was ambiguous. So yeah, you draw your conclusion. Did that happen?
Or there's some people that say it's also not ambiguous. It's supposed to be a different thing, but we'll get to that maybe if we ever cover
Yeah.
Inception. I don't know.
I still really love Inception. I think it's a great movie. So
I haven't watched it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's long.
is it a 2.5-hour movie?
It's a Nolan movie. Of course it's 2.5 hours.
Well, I didn't know because every time I watch it, it was one of those films I watched like once a year just because I love being thrilled by it. I didn't really. It's one of those things I just don't watch like all the time, but I watch it every once in a while. Just
2 hours, 42 minutes.
What?
Yeah, it's 2 hours 42 minutes.
God damn, it's almost 3 hours?
Yup.
God, that movie flies the fuck by. I never knew it was that fucking long. Jesus.
Well, you never really realize how fast time passes till you fall asleep.
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
it's about dream, not because it's boring, because it's about dreams.
I could have taken that either way. You could see where the confusion lied.
Just like the ending.
But yeah, no, that's interesting. Holy shit. I'm just thinking, I'm like, that's a near 3 hour movie, and I've seen it multiple times. I think I've seen that more than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So
Yeah, but Fight Club is also almost 3 hours.
It
I've
is.
seen that probably 5 times.
well, Fight Club is 2.5, yeah.
It's a bit over.
It's a bit over, but like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Jesus. But yeah, we will getting back to the subject at hand here.
Oh yeah, Fight Club's only 2 hours 31 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't think,
subject at hand, Cabaret.
yeah. So, yeah. Is there anything else we have to say about it?
Not really. I think I'm
Yeah.
good on.
Also,
I love the way it covers the heavy shit. I love the acting. I love the singing. It's just a really fun. Okay, maybe not fun, but it's a really good musical.
yeah, definitely. And on a positive note too, almost all of the actresses are still alive, or actors are still alive for the main cast. So,
I can fix that.
oh no, just I think the only one of the main characters that died was Helmut Green. I think he played Max. Let me see. Yeah, the guy who played Baron Max. He was the only one of the main people who died. So Lisa Mazzelli's still alive. Michael York is still alive. Joel Grey is the MC. He's still alive. He's 88 years old. But he's apparently from Cleveland, Ohio, the MC. So
Huh.
that's cool. Yeah, because I was looking at the
Cameron's
cast
spirit
on.
animal.
Yeah. I mean, I am a very dramatic person. I think Sally's more my spirit animal. Sally's more the person who she's closer to my personality. But yeah, that's really interesting. But yeah, so without further ado, I think it's time to break out that wheel, huh?
No.
Oh, well. Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Okay, fine. I'll start the recording.
Yay!
I'm trying to think if there's any last things I want to say. No, I got nothing at the moment.
All right. Well, I think we're set then.
And if I do, we have the recap episode coming next year.
Yep.
So,
Look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen.
in case you're wondering, it's the 99th episode.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that now.
And I'm so excited for the 100th. Ooh, it's going to be good, baby. We got something really cool in store for you guys. So
It's probably also going to be really fucking long.
yeah, I think it is. I think you're absolutely right. Just with how much there is to cover in the subject matter, yeah, it's going to be long. So
Anyway, we have 3 movies left of In a World, Time Bandits, and Jigoku.
Jigoku. I pulled you son of a bitch.
Yeah!
You said it so many times.
My
It was.
plan.
You said it so many times. It was kind of ingrained in my mind. Yeah, Jigoku is what we're doing, which is it's literally just means hell. So
Anyway, 3 choices, and let us spin. Okay.
Is it Time Bandits?
What makes you say it's Time Bandits?
I just have a feeling.
Okay, hey Cameron,
Yeah?
get the fuck out of my head again.
I'm sorry.
It's rude.
All right.
Yes, it's Time Bandits. Another director's favorite, which means this will be the last of the director's favorites.
All right.
Cameron will get 1 guess on it.
Yes, I will.
I will try to think of a different name so he doesn't just read my mind like a cheater.
Sorry.
Bitch.